Hey guys, Final Wars G. Hey guys, I'm Kiri Goji, the former owner of this channel. Hello there guys, I'm Millennium Goji. Hello there guys, I'm Evolved Goji. And hi guys, my name is Kong. Nice to meet ya. Today we'll be talking about a scary story called the Palmyra Wolf incident 2006, which is a paranormal story. If you like paranormal stuff, then you've clicked on the right video. You may give yourself a pat on the back. But if you don't like paranormal creepy stuff, then this video is not for you. In 2005, Eric Martin, he had been working at this paper mill for over 20 years. But when he was trying to get something at the paper mill, he threw his back out and he lost several spinal discs, which meant he was going to be disabled. And his wife, Shelley Martin, who had not worked in a long time, but she had to get a job. She ended up getting a job in her hometown. A place called Palmyra, Maine, in the United States of America. They had a son called Sean who lived all alone. And they had a 17-year-old daughter named Chelsea who was not happy about moving in with them. She had only 2 more weeks left of high school. But she had no choice. And while they're unpacking their stuff when they're moving into their house, and the house was such a cheap place, and it was quite a cheap place to live. Palmyra was a cheap place to live. Palmyra is a rural area. 2,000 people live there. And when Eric is unloading one of his guns, Eric had come from a long line of hunters. He loved to hunt, it was his favorite thing to do. And while he's carrying one of his firearms into the house, Shelley says, No guns in the house, put them in the barn, just put them in the barn. And he said, okay, I'll put them in the barn. Shelley didn't like guns. She wasn't a fan of guns. She didn't want to have guns in the house, especially having kids in there. She didn't want to have an environment where there were kids and guns in there. Then, over the next year, in 2006, they were doing this coffee ritual that they had been doing for a while, where they would sit on their porch, drink coffee and chat, and they would look out into the field. They did this every day, every night. And then, one night when they were doing their coffee ritual, Shelley says she sees something in the woods. So Eric gets his son Sean, who Millennium Goji just explained, didn't live with them, but was staying there at that night. They went to the edge of their property and yelled out, "Hey, this is private property. This is private property. You need to leave." And when they got to the woods, the pulsating lights disappeared. They went back into the woods. So they decided to split up and go a little bit into the forest. About 15 meters to their left, they heard... And when Eric saw those pulsating lights, he thought there was a poacher on this property. And also, about 15 meters to their left, they could hear some rustling noises about 15 meters to their left. They didn't want to get the chance that a hunter or some wild animal was stalking them. So they decided to go back into the house. And when it was springtime, time. It was a spring day. It was a bit chilly, but it was warm. They decided to go on a walk with their 2 dogs. Their 2 hunting dogs. They let their dogs off the leash because the dogs have been cooped up. Also, Chelsea has a boyfriend named Nathan who had just been enlisted into the military. So Nathan was trying to spend time with his girlfriend and his in-laws. And then they sent Shelley and Eric go out into the woods with their 2 dogs. They let their dogs run off the leash to go cuckoo crazy. Goodness, I fell again. And the dogs kept running until they went to a dead stop. Like, they went to a complete dead stop. Because there was this big den. It was made of it was made of dirt and sticks. And it was smelly. They were wondering, who did this? Did an animal or a poacher make this? Then Eric went a little bit into the den, like, a little bit. And then he could hear some low growling. Then he said, we gotta go. It's best if we're not here. I don't know what kind of animal is living in there. We have to leave. We gotta go back into the house. Then they left, and then over the next few months, while they're doing their coffee ritual, it was an unusual night. There was no wildlife. There was no crickets. They couldn't hear anything except for the talking. And there was this low mist that hanged across the field. And then they were talking about the general creepiness. And that's when, like, Shelley, like, gets a super torch and then, like, scans across the field, not knowing what she's looking for. But she was just looking around the field she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. And then, during an interview with the Martin family, Eric said that whenever Shelley turned off her super torch, he started to get this overwhelming sensation that they were in danger. So he tries to get Shelley into the house. He says, it's not safe out here. We gotta go in. It's not safe outside here. But Shelley didn't want to go inside. She just wanted to stay in for a few more... She wanted to stay out for a few more minutes. They started fighting. Eric tried to shove her into the house, but then they stopped. And Shelley goes, did you hear that? And Eric knew, whatever it was the reason why he had that feeling that they were in danger. And then Shelley grabbed her super torch and scans across the field. She gets about to halfway across the field, because right in the middle of the field, on the border of their property, there are these three pairs of eyes. There is 2 more joining them. Oh my goodness, I keep falling. Are you okay, Tom? Yes. And they looked like wolves. There was 5 wolf-like creatures right on the border of their property. Shelley said, what are those? And Eric, who has hunted for years, he has no idea. He says, I think they could be bears, they could be wolves, we gotta go in. And then one of the animals starts charging at them. Shelley was unable to keep the light on them for much longer. And then they went into the house. They went into the house. They locked the door, shut all the windows. They pulled the blinds down that were on the windows, and they also locked all the doors. But for some reason, there was something unusual about these two animals. The way that we're charging at them, it seemed, and they were now sitting on the gravel path where their vehicles were parked. And it seemed like they were targeting Eric and Shelly Martin. Anyway, guys, that's all for part 1. Part 2 will come out possibly tomorrow or on Wednesday. And we hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Bye.